Good evening, good evening. How y'all doing? Give me a hot second for this quick setup change in the back end. Hold on. We gotta get this working right. And so once we get this working right, we can definitely get started. All right, let's see here. So tons of controls that goes behind the development and the execution of The African Speaks. Now, welcome again to another episode as of The African Speaks. I thank you for coming out. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for listening. Truly appreciate you. I'm humbled that individuals would really think that or appreciate what the brother has to say. Now, I did change the day and time because I was having some scheduling conflicts trying to keep up with everything else that I'm building onto this platform and the things that I'm doing. I had some difficulty maintaining that Sunday schedule. So working out World of Akiba Land Inspirational Sunday, and we'll use Monday as a prep day, Tuesday and the rest of the week we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. So hopefully you'll be able to, you'll be able to keep up with the brother because I'm gonna be hitting hard on the social media networking. And now I want to also say we are entering into our season of gratefulness. That season of Thanksgiving. And I'm hoping you are enjoying this process. This is like a whole new experience in terms of how I'm approaching that season of thankfulness. It's a whole new thing. I'm approaching it by not just giving a state of gratitude in my voice, but making sure my deeds are reflections of my gratitude and my thankfulness for those who have gone before. So my thankfulness and my gratitude it's in my deeds, it's my voice, it's in my works, it's in my worship. My gratitude and my thanksgiving is in my praise. And I'm hoping you can do the same, you know what I mean, and amplify. Let's throw away the thing about the Indians and the pilgrims, and let's add that weight of spiritual awareness in this particular season. Now, before because, well, let me tell you, in that season and in that moment, I was inspired to come up with the topic, Rise of the African. In my sense of saying to the creator and to the ancestors that I'm totally thankful for everything that everybody has done before me. Now, and let's get this. My church has celebrated 68 years of service. And I don't know how many freedom fighters and liberators have walked the halls and of the Pan African Orthodox Christian Church, Shrines of the Black Madonna. I can't tell you that. Numerous of individuals who are still living. And I'm giving you your flowers while you're here. And this is the manifestation of all that you've done. This is my thanksgiving. And so before I get into how I was in the details of how I'm inspired to come with the rise of the African, a social media Pan-African movement, we're going to stop for a hot second and ask you, we got to do a little COR here, that if you are watching us on Facebook, please like, comment, share. That's completely important. And we're going to be discussing that in this phrase, and I've been doing it. But if you're really going to be African and we're going to fight for a movement, you got to learn how to do three things: like, comment, share, if we're going to come together, right? And if you're watching us on YouTube, on the African Speaks YouTube page, please hit subscribe and hit that bell. There will be tons and tons and tons of stuff coming out on the YouTube page. All right. And we want you to know that I told y'all I'm working. My gratitude is going to be in my word. my deed, my praise, and my worship. So everything I produce is from that state of thankfulness, that gratefulness of the struggle that those who have gone before and placed. And some of those who have gone before are still here. They just retired. And we're going to see if we can do what we could do to get them out of retirement. That's one thing. That's one process to get them out, to wake them up. And so as we do that, I want y'all to be on the lookout for everything that's coming. All right. This has got to be that week. I'm going to try to unleash everything this week. So by Sunday, you would have seen every format and every presentation, every show. I'm still working on which day. There's gonna be some days where I combine two in one, but I'm still writing out and putting it all together. And so we want to make sure that, and I'm gonna do my best. Again, I am focused. Dead focus is on mastering the social media marketing on behalf of getting the word out that there is a group of people who are focused on the liberation of black people, because there's nothing more sacred than the liberation of black people, and that's all I'm producing. Nothing else. That's all we're going to produce here from World of Akibaland. Now, for those, and I didn't put this where you can see me, but you should be able to hear my voice. When we're taking a look at the website, please go out to the World of Akibaland and take a look at the website. We will be posting everything on the website. I had it where I can manipulate the website here. Let's see here if I can manipulate it from here. There we go. Go to the home. Oh, we have everything. Who we are, what we do, you name it, we do it. And if you feel spunky, you can also go donate, share some love. But we're going to be working on making sure that all of everything we do is on our website, so you can go take a look at it. You can be, it's going to be on the YouTube page. You can go take a look at it. I'm in the process now of building the African Speaks page onto the World of Akibaland website. So all the African Speaks conversations that we have had will be up there. So I'm putting some work in. This is the holiday season that I'm putting that work in. And that's another thing that I want to let y'all know, because we, in terms of my community, are entering into what we call our holy season. And our holy season goes from Rams of Moja, which is at African Thanksgiving, all the way to Pentecostal Sunday. So that's the whole stretch of our holy season. And so I'm going to do my best during the holy season to have an experience of God, woo, that allows me to produce more than I've ever produced and stay as focused as more I've ever stayed focused. So we really want that to happen. So we're going to ask y'all to ride with us. Now, let's get to it. Here we go. Tonight's show, Rise of the African. It is about increasing the global Pan-African borderless community. It's about increasing a global Pan-African borderless community. Now, we have talked about this many times. We've been doing a whole lot of this, because in this, and let me show you, because let's get it right. There'd been one time when we talked about it where I said that, wait, that Marcus Garvey, I said that and I said, man, I was meditating one time and I could hear the ancestors speaking. And it said Marcus Garvey was in the room with Jeramogi Baby Ajamin, Reverend Albert B. Cleve. You got to listen. He said, the world's technology is now ready to support the concept of a global, borderless, Pan-African community. Now, who best to talk about this with than the group that is called the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, where we say there is nothing more sacred than the liberation of black people, and try to show that technology now has made a move to the point where it is a weapon for liberation. It is a resource for liberation. It is a major tool to the struggle. But then that got hard, because when you start dealing with something new, you have a generation that doesn't understand it, and then they also have a situation where they're trying to fight learning anything about it. And that, when the concept I dropped, the revolution inside the revolution. And so the revolution inside the revolution, where I said, let me reach out to the younger generation, the older generation, talk about the differences, and see if we can pull something together to find that common ground. Man, that was a difficult effort. Difficult effort. I'm not resigning from it, because I'm gonna still try to put this thing together. But what this was supposed to be was and in that, because I invited guests, I had ministers come out, I had community activists come out and speak. I'm using this as a form of what we call COR, community outreach within our own community, to help people understand what is needed within the liberation struggle. And so I live a life in my faith. My faith mirrors the image of what it looks like to be in a liberation struggle. And that's within the liberation theology format. We're the founders and the fathers and the writers of it. That's how far we go back, 68 years. There's nobody talking about liberation theology but us. And so trying to, hey, you guys, there is another way to approach COR. And I tried. I said, you know what? It went so far back, and I don't know if y'all can remember, where we talked about it being the timing of the perfect storm. That perfect storm that comes out, where we said we needed timing, technology, and leadership to be able to mount a real struggle for Black people. And this is the perfect time, even during COVID, where everybody's home and they accessible. Accessible because they're not running around the world. They're sitting still. So if we can't use technology now, we done. We done. Ooh, ain't that something? I like the way that went out when I said we done. And then I added the fact that, ooh, guerrilla warfare, social media marketing and interaction on a conscious level, consciousness for the sake of building institutional power. That's guerrilla warfare of this day and time. That's real. And I don't know if y'all remember it, if y'all was watching it. Y'all can go back. I think that was the last one I did, where I was expecting, no, it wasn't the last one, the last one, because I had a guest come out that canceled, and I had to run this one. And this was at the spur of the moment. It was popping. Popping. Guerrilla warfare. We got to get clear of how we use social media. We got to get clear. If we're not using it to uplift and change not just our immediate communities, but borderless, we can influence individuals miles away in the African diaspora, miles away. The same way Marcus Garvey did, but he needed to use transportation. He was on trains, steamboats. He wasn't flying nowhere. And we could sit here with a phone, bloop, 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 or internet. And so I said, I had to master this. And this is exactly what I did. And then, of course, you present it to those who feel like, yo, these are the leaders of the liberation struggle. And so I say that to let you know that there isn't anything that I do that is not a part to a greater peace. Everything I create is a part to a larger group. I am just a small piece in a puzzle. And so when you have that, because there is no blueprint for the liberation of Black people, this is our lives. And if you go far back, the only people that were liberated at the end was Haiti. But then Haiti was liberated in the middle of slavery, where they could do no trade with nobody. So the European powers at that time, not spiritual powers, but the European energy at that time, got together and said, we're gonna make sure that nation doesn't grow, because we can't have that spirit influence our slaves. Even to today, we can't let that spirit influence our slaves. And that's why they keep Haiti as a third world country. United States and Britain and everybody's got a hand. France still got a hand in making sure that Haiti stays as a third world country. And we gotta watch that. We gotta watch that. And so I sat down and said, you know what? My notes. I had to write with my notes today. Knowing that I'm a smaller piece to a puzzle, I sat down and said, you're looking at this puzzle and you're trying to figure out how you fit. And I keep plugging and plugging how I fit. And I said, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing COR in my own community. Maybe that's not what the spirit has been calling me to do. Because every time I turn around, there's somebody in my community calling me saying, why aren't you getting the support you deserve according to the work that you're putting in? And I could tell you, I invited all levels of our community to be a part of this puzzle, because we all need it. We have multiple ministries. We all need it. And so I kept getting calls from other ministers from other places. I was getting calls from church members from other churches. I was getting calls from youth workers in other youth groups. I'm getting calls and texts from other black conscious individuals. And I had to pause, because me being the peace that I am, I said to myself, I can't reach outside my community until my community is put together. And I said, when I bring them, I need some place to send them. But then if I'm building classes, I'm building infrastructure, and I'm showing you, and I always say it, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. Why? Because in this season of thankfulness, I allow my works to show my heart, my gratitude to the Creator, to the ancestors, to those who have gone before, and these liberators who are still living. That's why I do what I do. It's got nothing to do with me. I never really wanted to be in the front. I didn't want to be in the back either. I said, I'm not a spectator. You got to let me participate. But if my talents are there where I could help someone else have a voice, which is the words DaAfrican speaks, I'm going to do that. Right? And so I had a sister call me, Mother Evelyn, and she watches from Indianapolis, called me today and went off on, I'm tired of talkolution. When are we going to actually build institutional power? She said, I will be 68 this year. 68. And I don't want to turn 68 without seeing the hope for the future. I said, wow. And she went on. And she was like, I'm sorry. I said, no, you've earned with the work that you've put in and the people that you've raised and everything that you've poured into the youth. You have a right to speak your peace and your truth. The African in her was speaking. All black, everything is more than a conversation. It's institutional power, and we need to talk about what that looks like. Rise of the African. And so when I heard another sister, one love, Adrian, I appreciate you, speak life by saying, brother, you gotta let it go. You gotta let go and let God. And I had to think about, maybe I need to now focus on a greater community and hopes that my enclosed community rises along with the Africans in the diaspora. Everybody, not focus on one sect, but every African rises. What would the world look like? And Mother Evelyn today was like, what would the world look like, AJ, if every African rose up so that we could have our own everything? I'm 68 and I want to see and feel freedom. So she knew something. Didn't matter the liberties we have. We're not free unless we have our own. Woo. Rise of the African. And so her and I always talk about the social media movement of the struggle. She's 68, which means technology has no age. And I keep telling y'all that. She said, but you know more than most of us. I said, well, we need people to get quiet enough to teach. If you can't like, comment, and share, what can I teach you? What can I teach you if you cannot like, comment, and share? So we're going to have a moment because this Rise of the African, I'm going to ride this theme until Pentecost. And the goal is 5,000 people coming forward. I want 5,000 people either on the YouTube page or on the African Speaks Facebook page. 5,000 liberators in one place ready to make change. And if you can give me 5,000, I can show you somebody who can reach 100,000. Somebody who will reach 1,000,000. Somebody who can create the infrastructure just like the UNIA. I'm about to go to work because that's what I'm called to do. But I cannot do it without you. I say that because I'm about to drop this video for you. And here's a disclaimer. It ain't cute, it ain't pretty, and I hope y'all watched the version that I put online about it, because we're gonna watch this version of the video, and then after we watch the whole thing, I'm gonna break the video down, because we need to wake up. We live in a generation where where the kids call themselves the woke generation. They looking for that metaphysical word rather than the rhetoric of our past. They looking for that inspirational thing that helps them build rather than the woes of our problems. They're ready to move, but they need something else. So as much as they think they're free, or even the ones who've been doing this for 68 years believe they're free, you can tell you're not when the tool of liberation is sitting in front of you and you don't pick it up. In this day and time, when we talk about COR and MOR for in our community, that's community outreach, missionary outreach. One is based on people, the other one is based on finances. When we can't do three things, like, comment, share, we're no longer woke. We have rescinded into our mark of slavery. We have not been able to change with the times. We're still stuck in our yesterday. And so I said, let us take a look. And that's conscious black people. Conscious black people who will strike out at something in blind rage without any program, without any process, leadership without any vision. But we're going to talk about that. I want y'all to watch this, and then I'm going to go back over it, and I'm going to dissect this scene. And this scene was given to me to the ancestors. This wasn't something, it's like last minute, last night. I was sitting there and I said, ooh, I got to put this together. And I stayed up all night putting this together. So this is the intro to the Rise of the African, a social media Pan-African movement where the initiative is to bring more than 5,000 people in one place for one purpose, to do one thing: to change social media into a platform that becomes a tool to uplift our minds, our spirits, our emotions, everything about us. But let's take a look how the Africans did it in their time. So maybe the African in us can do it today. Let's take a look. Now, I'm not going to talk the first time. I'm going to just watch with you. But the second time, we're going to watch it and I'm going to cut it up. This is going to be a minute because, woo, this is some powerful stuff. I hope y'all saw that video because then you're going to know. Because when you see it the second time and we break it down, you're going to see something totally different. And so that's when you're not looking with these eyes. You're looking with the third. It's time to open your third eye and see the African in you.
Tokyo ben muta le kokolungo tamandi alikana baramandi wayo wayo bukunti yo nata follow sunkuto le kama wai wayo amana follow baria banalade wayo
Bring the girl to me. It's back.
Wato sito le wayo nikuti yo ye bonda yeli abe bana
Belong.
tensu kuto mala kotek Alamangantala Olunta
The thing that distinguishes slavery in Africa from Atlantic slavery is race. Europeans set in motion a system of slavery that was predicated on the idea that certain people were marked as enslavable.
Okay, so we're gonna and I'm sorry that I didn't see that last clip was not in terms of the words. You couldn't see the words, but we're gonna put that up there because I do have it in my setup where you can actually read the words, and I'm gonna read those words to you because we're gonna close with the words that was on that image, right? But what I first want you to look at is on the slave ship after being caught. We know we in chains. So we know we're not who we were called to be. They doing something against our will. And what I want you to realize is the harmony of communication. How they spoke in their native tongue. And it is said that they would get different tribes in they would get different tribes inside the ships, but they were singing in a language where they could communicate with one another. Wow, speaking in tongues, speaking in a level of liberation has a language. I don't know how many times we say that it has a language. It comes in a tongue that every enslaved individual or impressed individual can understand. And you can be super intellectual and miss the simple thinker. But if you're in the spirit of the Creator and you're focused on true liberation, what happens is your tongue changes. Everything shifts and you begin to speak with each other, not at each each other because you understand that you are in that same situation. Take a look. And I'm going to pause it because we're going to chop it up. Look at it again. Now, what I want you to notice is that in that moment, there was only one voice of leadership. And you hear them, and when you look at it, they're telling you what he's saying. Dance, my brothers. Dance, my brothers. Dance, my brothers. And they like, what? You're telling them to dance. For us in this time, what is dancing as you prepare for liberation? Especially with this new tool. Like, comment, share. Rise, African. I need my family to dance. Like, comment, share. And it was only one voice. I want you to watch what he's saying before I break down what that voice was doing. One voice, but watch, read the caption if you can. Read the caption if you can. Let's see here. Okay, so I didn't want her to jump in there, right? Because she has a piece too. But if you look, the voice of leadership is giving instructions. Woo. He has a vision of how to get the power they need to control their destiny. He has a vision. And so you're looking at leadership. Well, how do you call it? What is the vision that you have? And then he was giving direct instructions. It's not a vision of so lofty where you don't have a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. No, direct instructions. And if you can sing along in terms of you understand our language is the language of liberation, I'm asking you to fight not for me, but with me. Because I want to fight with you. I want to live for you. Or I want to die for you. When you're dealing with the issue of liberation, that's what it is. Life or death. Rise. Rise, African. And so you see that was leadership. And I wanted you to get that. And wait. I don't know if when you saw there's a brother that stares at him. And he just looks in his eyes. He just stares at him. Let me see if I missed that section. Yeah, him. Look at him right there. Right there. Watch him. So they meet at one point. He's looking at the guy in control. He's looking at the leader. And when you see him, I'm going to see if I can find it again. When you see him, see that brother. Right there. Woo! Look at the look in his eyes. Look at the fire in his eyes. He's hearing the word that is being blessed inside the one who is being in charge as he's breaking down the steps. And he's ignited, if you can't see that. That's a free man feeling the spirit of a free man. Spirit meets spirit. So when you have a fire, and this, I told Miss Evelyn this, she's 68 years old. I said, we working on a project for World of Akibaland and a lot of nonprofits. And I'll talk about that later, right? And in that work that we're doing, because we're in the process of bringing a lot of economic power to nonprofits. And if anybody's listening, I calls you or text you and say, look, I got a process for this nonprofit. I'm going to give you $50,000 a year. Yes. I got a call from Indianapolis to put me on this. Oh, we're going to be making some moves. When she told me that, I was looking at her like he was looking at the king, at the brother. I hear you. Spirit meets spirit. So then the issue is, do you be or do you not? Do you be the revolutionary Holy Spirit that is embodied in each one of us, or do you walk away? No, you can't walk away when you're seeking for freedom. He was clear. When it's time to go, look at his face. When it's time to go, we're doing it. And it's simple in our journey. Like, comment, share. If we're trying to move these algorithms to reach black people so that we could wake up or have the resources that we need to stand up, spirit meets spirit. And so stop trying to be out here by yourself, or stop trying to stop connecting to putting the wrong people in the wrong places doing the wrong thing, but for the right reason. But they not the one. Take your time. See the plan. Let the plan come from the creator, not from your own ego. Let the plan come from the ancestors, not from your own ego. Because when it comes from the ancestors, they give you how to complete that journey. I didn't figure out, I didn't go to school for none of this. But I'm looking like, wow. People are coming to me like, how do you do this? Yeah, I just meditated and prayed, and they told me I got a vision, and I sat in a chair and I tried it. I surrendered. Spirit meets spirit. Now, then you get that situation. See, he knocking. He was clear. He was clear right there. The captain will not wait. Wait. Oh, let me go back. He was clear. He said the captain's going to die before he touch her again. Woo! Let's talk about that. The protection of our queens. I'm done. We're watching our sisters get abused by the system in which we live in. And it's funny because our queens even now, they learn how to self-exploit themselves to move forward in a society that is not built for us. Slave ship. What is our slave ship today but a systematic racism, social injustices. What is our slave ship but a knee in our necks? Bullets flying through our houses while we getting shot up. Oh, I thought he was in my house. I'm sorry. Cops unloading chambers. Not even I thought I saw a gun on children. What? When are we going to stop and make a decision to protect what is ours? And he was clear. No one gets hurt ever again. We're going to do this because this ain't happening. And then what I want you to see is the women. So he's in the mindset of protecting the sisters. But in the slave ship, it was said that women were not necessarily shackled. They got to walk around free. You saw, free. And that creates a psychological barrier between black woman and black man. This corrupt society and system will take care of me as long as I surrender to it. And you can't help me because you in change. Now, the physical change that the black man was in is the same change that they putting on her mind and her spirit and her consciousness. However, the sister walking forward saw the separation of the the institution, the peculiar institution, the institution of slavery. And she said, I'm still connected. You can separate the sexes, which they did, but we still a people. Now, in this space where we fighting to get the knees off our necks, our sexes are separated and we not a people. Where does that happen? That's not how we got here. Brother, I understand they got you locked down because they fear your muscle. And so there's going to be abuses that they put on you where you can't help me. But it doesn't mean that you not my king. There be sisters online all the time talking. Black man, if you out here making us look crazy, I understand, but I still love you. And I'm waiting for mine, but y'all wake up, please. Because some of us are still here waiting. Sister walk in and she had a bucket in her hand because there are freedoms that she's allowed that the black man is not. Woo! And in those freedoms, she brings him a weapon. What? You can separate the sexes, but we're still a people if we are liberation minded. I had an argument with a sister the other day about bashing black men. I said, wait a minute, is he married to the woman? Yeah. Is she happy with him? Yeah. So why are you judging how his relationship is to a married, you judging a married man's relationship to his wife and she's happy? You got no place in that. We got to stop bashing and start education. Start educating each other, supporting each other, giving somebody a weapon of freedom. Watch this. The weapon. He looking at it. Got his eyes open.
Bring the girl to me.
Oh, nah. This ain't happening no more. This time, when the door opens, he will die before he touches her again. When the door opens, when there is a season of opportunity, when there's a situation that we can take advantage of, when there's a moment that we can move and progress, when the door opens, it is our time. Woo! When the door opens, we are sitting in an era where we have more access to information than we've ever had. And what do we do with it? We dance on TikTok and entertain. They gave us the weapon. Social media, internet, coding, everything. Everything that we gave the world in terms of mathematics, science, arts, religion, they take it and they weaponize it on their behalf. We're supposed to be taking it back. And that's exactly what she did. She brought him the tool to use it on behalf of the liberation struggle. Take a look at it. Because when you see this clip again in the end, it should give you complete definition where you got to be able to see what doors are opening for us. Where it's not a casual, oh, I might do this today. No. It's for freedom. It's for life. If you really want to give thanks this season, you want to give God a set of gratitude or a gratitude in your spirit this season. How can you sit down and say, God, I'm grateful for the food you placed on this table, but when he opened the doors of opportunity, you not using it? So are you truly grateful? We got to question our own actions. Woo, that's coming. Now, they had to wait for the door open because in every slave ship, there was a wall, thick wall, between the slaves and the ship people who was running the ship. That wall was so thick and fortified, it took a lot to get through if you couldn't open the door first. And they knew We have to wait for that door to be open, and then that's our opportunity. I'm not running into a wall where I can't either blow it up or scale it. I need to go through the wall. And I need to go through it when he least expects me to go through the wall. We're going to wait for our opportunity. Our opportunity is now, before they start downsizing and rearranging and changing our ability to access people. In World of Akibaland, I always talk about creating the black cyber generation, a generation of black youth who can code, who can key, who can do all of this in their sleep. Give me a kid at the age of 5 in our program, and by 15, we're going to have a generation of cyber geniuses, which is creating the opportunity for success in this technological world rather than waiting for somebody to give us something. All we need is God and an opportunity, but we have to prepare for that opportunity. And they were ready. We're going to stay in motion. We're going to sing. We're going to be in harmony. I'm giving you a vision of what it's going to do. We got the help on the side by the sisters bringing us the weapon. This is about to happen. And then look at the drummer's eyes. Woo! When it was about that time, if you notice, the drums got louder. The drums got louder. That was when the Spirit of God is hidden. The time is near. You can't vibrate in God and not feel the essence of everything around you. That rhythm is loud and it's quiet at the same time, because you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it. Look at his eyes. I'm giving it to you. I'm letting you feel it. It's that power. Them drums. You can feel it when it's time for us to stand up. You feel that vibration. You feel that connection. That's that melanin. That harmonizing agent built in our DNA. What? He's playing it, and they're syncopating to it, and they're ready to move. Check out the next one. Look at them, eyes wide, because they ready. Dance, brother, dance. They can't see it coming. Right there. May God guide us. Woo! May God guide us. There's one weapon that in my African spirituality classes with Chief Montana, he says there's one weapon that black people are not using, and that's their spiritual powers. Man, they said the revolutionary black Messiah Jesus walked on water. Montana said that's easy, everybody's done that. He's not the only one. They have this fire ritual where you show the powers of deeply spiritual individuals in Africa, West Africa. He goes every year. People talk, they just talk about the awe of that spiritual power. May God guide us. That's that moment of surrender. We ain't doing this without the Creator's help. You can tell when somebody's in their ego because it's all about them. But when somebody's about God, it's full surrender to the moment, to the experience, and you receive information coming from you from all directions, and you can sort it real fast. He saw it peeking under the blanket. Yeah, that's the tool. Oh, may God guide us. We got to be a people of God. We always talk, I talk all the time to the kids, it's about the covenant promise, the relationship that we share. That's why that drum got hard, because we understand our relationship in God through how we vibrate. Our frequency, 1.618. Look it up. You got to be a people of God. And you got to go by those two rules. Love that God with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and thy brothers, thyself. That means I'm going to live for you, or I'm going to die for you. The same way I would live for myself and die for myself. You come first. Mm. Rise, African. Now, the tool of freedom. Mm, mm, mm. For him, it was a hatchet. Whap, broke the chain. Now they at war. And it's not war battling for something negative. It's the war for freedom. War for self-determination. War to be able to choose who you are in God. How is that not worth fighting for? That one tool. Whap! Now we go. And so, what would be the tool of liberation for us? Ade, in one of our church sermons, is a young brother. I had the privilege of mentoring him since he was 5. He's 30, about 33 now. He said it's the tool, the foundation of the liberation struggle has to be communal living. You take as you're able, you give as you're able, and you take as you have need. It's that balance of love, major love. The first tool is a tool of communal living. And that's that covenant, loving God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and your brothers and self. It's a way of life. That's kingdom building. Don't know what else is. That's kingdom building. And so now we sit down and say, okay, we need something to break these chains globally. In my community, I told them, look, we can get you this information. We're going to make it look pretty. We're going to do the best we can. But we still need the rise of the Africans. It's not just one African. No, I am the African. But I ain't got no S back there. The African speaks, but Africans changes the world. We need the S. We need the plural. We need that tool. Like, comment, share. Pull the numbers in and we'll have infrastructure built. Or we will be building it together. But you need that tool, that work. And so I want to take a look at now he had to pause, but look in his eyes. Spirit meets spirit. Spirit of God outside, Spirit of God inside. He's right there. Now, right now I might be overpowered, so I'm gonna have to go through some things. But I'm not losing my freedom. And I've watched people die around me, but I'm not losing my freedom. I'm not losing that fire in my eye. I'm not. And that's gonna be here. And I'm not letting anybody take it away. That's that look of a free man. So when you see yourself in the mirror, you see what you post, you see what you talk about. What is in your eyes? Can I see liberation? If liberation is a language, it's how you talk, it's how you think, it's how your perception of things, it's what you hear. Do you look free? When someone sees your eyes, what do they see? I get, brother, you deeply intense. Yeah. I'm intensely seeking to always find myself in the Spirit of God, being led by my ancestors, because this is a fight that is still continuing. You think this over? You think this over? Let's see the rest. Is this over? And we're going to skip past that part because I'm going to bring that image back. Watch that image.
The thing that distinguishes slavery in Africa from Atlantic slavery is race. Europeans set in motion a system of slavery that was predicated on the idea that certain people were marked as enslavable.
Woo! Marked as enslavable. Marked as enslaved. What marks us as enslavable? Well, it was easy, because if you understand history, white folks said it's hard to enslave each other because all you got to do is change your clothes, and we can't tell if you are an indentured servant, because you're supposed to be indentured servant for 7 years and then you're set free. When the pilgrims came over, they said vagabonds and crooks and criminals. That wasn't the best of society. It was the worst of them. They were enslaved to the government and said, "You're gonna go do this for us." But all you had to do is change your clothes, and you out. But they said, "Wait a minute. Africans don't look like us. They're distinctive from us. So they are more enslavable than we are to ourselves." And it's different. Like you said, we didn't enslave each other for the sake of race. We would do it for the sake of growth. And you were never enslaved in Africa for the duration of your life. And you only lasted 3 years on a plantation. No. The worst form of slavery was coming over here. Now the issue is, what is your mark of slavery now? These people are enslavable because of their difference to us. So this whole system is based off of enslaving you because you're different from them. Now, what is your slave now? Where's that mark at? Where's your mark of slavery? And I have these private conversations with individuals in my community, and I tell them, we deeply enslaved when we can't do 3 things. When we talk about reaching out or giving witness to black people that we have the answer, we are the answer, we are institutional power being put together to grow. When you can't get, it's a check. You can't get a comment, a couple of letters. This is a good thing or a question. And you can't get a share. Where's your mark of slavery at? How deep does that mark of slavery burn into your spirit? That's what they said. After 400 years, we won't even have to physically confine them no more. They will confine themselves. The mark of the slavery is mental. We know this. We talk about it. But when we sit down and we're given an opportunity where the door is open and the chains are, we have information so we can find out who and whose we are and what we're here to do, we don't run for the door. Our mark of slavery is emotional. The anger we have for each other. They separated the sexes so long that we can't even get along. We can't build black families, black relationships, black communities, good black businesses. Slavery is spiritual. We still holding on to a faith. If you ain't a Christian and you ain't dealing with the liberation theology, you got a slave religion. Sorry. You do. It's in our spirit. And as African people, if you ain't studying African spirituality and how we were able to endure such a horrendous act against humanity, how do we endure this spirit? But now, you can get mad and say, stop, to the government in which you live in, but if all you yelling is stop and you ain't building your own, you still marked. You still marked. It's educational. They're not teaching you what you need to learn. And then when they give you access to more information than we've ever had access in this country, you don't use it. Somebody said, how did you do this? Easy. I have a liberated mind that where I surrender to the God and the ancestors, and I look at the situation in which we in, and I learn something new to move us forward. That's what this is. Where is your mark? And if you can't sit down and say, nah, ain't nobody slave, you still marked. Because you can't say you not if you don't have an institution of power where we can have, again, the phrase is good, all black everything. So where is it at? We still marked. Even those, and this is the sad part, those who are liberated in conversation are marked worse than those who are not. Because just because you participate in a liberation theology, you think that your mark is gone. It's faded. It's not as prominent as everybody else's. Yeah, but then that means you're surrendering even more, putting even more work. No, it's not happening. And I can tell you, one of the most powerful organizations, it's not happening. And I had to get to a point where I sat down and say, I can't give in. They get mad because I be like, yeah, I ain't working on that. Why? Because you trying to enslave me. I'm trying to get rid of my mark. I'm trying to help you get rid of your mark. Where's your mark at? Can we surrender to God and find out what it feels like to dream? To be in a state of being self-determined. To dream. To be in a state to embrace our own culture. To dream. To be in a state of being able to have our own traditions and heritage. A dream. Can we reinforce that mark? We are not African Americans. We are American Africans. We are more American in this state than we are divine beings from an African culture. We're Africans. We're American Africans. We are Europeanized in our area of the African diaspora. Just because you put on kente cloth don't make you woke if you're not building institutional power. Your mark, and people who do that, I can't see my mark. Grand Rising, brother. What are you building? No free man or no free woman that lives in an oppressive society doesn't kingdom build. Y'all want to talk about the Christians, or you handkerchief head Christians. At least they got the word, kingdom building. They ain't got the process. They got the word. You don't even have a word. How do you do that? Where your mark at? We got to take time to find that mark and how we are holding ourselves back from finding an experience of God where we walk forward in full power to release that. What does it feel like to be free? And I'm fighting for that. Mother Evelyn told me today she doesn't want to die before she sees the institutional power that black people are going to be able to lose on and lean on to be free. I say, I'm sorry. I don't want to cross over without knowing what it feels like to be absolutely free. Giving every talent, every thought, my perception, everything I hear to the liberation of black people. Where all I know and I feel is freedom for my people. Because if I can do that, then maybe there'll be a kid in the world of Akibaland that I can pour that into. And they get it. They get further than where we are. That's important to me. And maybe I'm sorry. Maybe I can influence a child where from birth to life to adulthood, they don't have a mark. because we have counter institutions like schools, after school programs, and training centers. We have farms. We have the largest black owned farm in the United States. We can feed, clothe, and house, educate black people, employ them, let them feel what it means to be self determined, interact and have commerce overseas, where we're connecting with Ghana and Rwanda and Zimbabwe, all the countries who are now fighting for a Pan African experience. The door is opening. Now you got people on the other side seeing it, and they're pushing this way. If we get it together and start pushing this way, we meet in the middle. Ain't no way they ever closing that door ever again. We take over that ship. That leads to this last piece. They say we marked, but we not. We can take that mark away. Now, this sister opened my eyes, and I call her my fundi. Is he mine? It's like calling, that's my mommy. She was my spiritual mother when I walked in the church. She educated me on how to teach and raise black youth in my early 20s. Look at me now, and I'm good at it, and I love it. And I have to embrace, as the world changes, I try to embrace the world that they live in so that I can get them to communicate in that world, to live in that world, to learn these tools for freedom, to fight, to grow. That's important. And so when she was doing it, she always would use this phrase. Remember I said you're going to see that ship again? Where they take over the ship? When she first saw the movie The Amistad, that was way back when Amistad came out. Or I don't know if she read the book, but she would always sit there when the kids would act up. And I said, how did I come up with the name DaAfrican? Because one point in my life, I didn't fight. When I was a hypocrite, you know. Like Day said when he did his sermon, a couple of, and y'all gotta look at the church's sermons. I was a hypocrite because I was a part of a liberation theology foundation in my community. I still was acting crazy, but because I was a part of the liberation struggle of black people building institutions in my community, being crazy was okay, but it wasn't. And so during the Kwanzaa, one day I was walking past and everybody knew I was going crazy. Meaning that I had behaviors that I didn't live from the language of liberation. My language, I don't know what I was talking, but I wasn't talking liberation. I was talking from that mark of slavery, my life and my actions, and I changed it. I walked past and she said, Ajay, we need to be more African in our American experience. Are you that African? And she used to tell kids, we need Africans who are not afraid of taking over a slave ship and leading us back to Africa. Anytime a child would act up, she would say that phrase and she would ask them, are you that African? Then that means rise up. Rise, African, and be who God called you to be. And so we're going to sit to break this down. Because I'm going to Pentecost and I'm going to try to make this happen for black people. Pass or fail, I'm going to give it my best. We. Who's we? We are the chosen ones. We are the first ones that walked on the planet. We're the ones that God created when he gave us the earth, gave us to the earth. He created everything in personal mathematical genius when you look at how the world was conceived, and said the first people on this planet are going to be melanated, those who are sun-kissed, we say now. We talk about that melanin magic. Black girls rock. That's the we talking about. Them young kings. That's the we talking about. Those who are aware of their culture, their heritage, and their beginnings, their connection and relationship to God. That's that we. We need what? That means provide. We're in need of something. If we know that we are God's chosen, we are asking the Creator to provide for us. We need Africans, free people, those who understand who and whose they are, and then what they're called to do. Because sometimes we talk about we're going to teach our kids who and whose they are. That's not enough, because we got a ton of kids out there who know who and whose they are, but they're good slaves too, because they ain't building nothing. Like, comment, share. 3 things. Let's communicate with each other and start having that conversations of what liberation looks like in our own communities, in our own cities. Somebody said, how do you see World of Akibaland? I said, I see Akibaland Center as big as the Boys and Girls Club. I need to be more than one in one city where a kid can be dropped off. We have the relationship with the community and the parents where we know each kid that comes through. Yeah, they get to eat and get educated and have community. Ain't that something? But we need the Africans who are not afraid. What does that mean, not afraid? That means you walk in God. You walk in God. In God, there is no fear. When you know, he said, we're going to hope that may God guide us. Because I'm doing something I don't know nothing about. But we're going to take over this ship and we're going to sail it somewhere. They couldn't sail it back to Africa because the boat was leaking. It was taking on water, and they were closer to America than they was to Africa, and they wouldn't have made it home. So they thought that they can come in. Now y'all got to look at this, because they went to court. This was the reason behind the Civil War. This court that they went, you got to dive into it. But they weren't afraid, and you could saw that in the look in their eyes. Yo, we fight with God. We kingdom build. What fear is there? And that was something that had to be told to me even in this experience. Never did I want to sit down and then believe that I'm going to do COR outside my community, without my community. No, it's time. Because I'm not walking with it myself, and this is not about ego. This is about the liberation of black people. Can you take over the slave ship? Well, what is our slave ship today? What do you think it is? If it's not a knee on my neck, what do you think it is? If it's not poor education, what do you think if it is? If it's not deportation to a country that just had a tsunami, what is our slave ship now? If it's not social injustice, what is our slave ship? If it's not operant conditioning, what is our slave ship? And that's something that we got to think about, because we got to take over the slave ship, whatever it is. We got to fight against the slave ship until it becomes a tool on our behalf. What is that slave ship? Because that slave ship might lead us. What is a slave ship if it's not the internet? Whoa. We on this thing, and we on this ship, and we sailing, and all we doing is partying. It keeps us. When you look at how black folk, now I'll be telling people, I watched Reverend Oldies. I watched his ministry grow because he connected to people. I don't know if he's about liberation of black people, but he grew because he said, I'm going to utilize this slave ship for the benefit of building the kingdom according to how he understands it. Now, when you in the liberation theology, and you know that we are in an oppressive society, we live amongst systematic oppression, and we live in a country that does not work for us. And now we are on a ship called the internet. And how how do we sail on that ship? We doing up in here doing nothing but madness and craziness, acting like a fools. And then we sit in fear because we have our profiles. Because people see me, people that I don't know because of what I do. It gives you a layout of who I am. You cannot go through my profiles and can't understand that this is a man of God. This is a man of tradition, culture. He is African in his American experience. However, the most of us are American Africans. What is our slave ship? Somebody calls me and says, hey, can you show me? Wait a minute, show you? You have the same access that I have. I would be loving to show you if I could see you African in your American experience, because then I know that I'm not teaching a slave be a better slave. Who does that? I'm a free man wanting to teach people how to be free. Let us do that together. And then when you get there, where you leading us? If not, back to Africa. What? Now we know we not going, some of us may, Stevie Wonder left. He got on the news and told us, bye. After that knee in the neck, bye. I cannot raise my grandkids here. Bye. He took his resources and broke. I don't know if he built schools or hospitals with all the money we made, and we loved him. But he gone to Africa to live in a country that is built by our own hands, where they're pushing out colonialism or the old forms of colonialism. Because they got new forms coming, and we're going to talk about that. Digital colonialism. You don't know you being colonized by the way you use the internet. And I'm trying to get you to understand algorithms, and you choose to do what you want to do for the sake of you. You want a slave ship being happy that you getting whipped and don't even know it. Where is your mark of slavery? You can't even see it anymore, but we can tell by your actions. I need to go that way. Yeah. We can tell by your actions. Are you rowing us back to a state of understanding who we are in God? That's getting back to Africa. It ain't got to be a physical state. It's got to be a mental, emotional, spiritual, educational, and then physical state. Let us get back there. The language of liberation is for real. Where are you leading us? So, with that, I say we're in the process of coming to the Africans and asking them to stand up. A social media Pan-African movement. Clear. It's not just trying to connect people and get people to talk on the internet while COVID is up. No, we need infrastructure. Teachers, tutors, mentors, you name it, we need it. We need people who can teach history, word, philosophy, theology. We need it all. Y'all saw my brother up in here, Tamani, the Black Gold Nation. He said, I'm trying to connect black people all over the United States to connect and have our own inner city governments. He said, brother, what do you want to do? I laughed. I said, what can I do? You feel me? I'm giving myself to God. So whatever the ordeal is in terms of the discipline, God got me. So this is where you need me. I can build. I say the same to my community. Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, Shrines of the Black Madonna. I don't know how often when you sit down and say, yo, y'all gave me my name, Akono, my middle name. It's my turn. Meaning, look, if I surrender to God, can I get a shot? Can I see if I'm worthy to help lead black people? The only way you find your worthiness is you surrender to God. I had to find it out the harder way. And I got it. So we went this social media, Pan-African movement to be real. We want to bring as many people as possible. And I'm asking you, like, comment, share. I will be getting on the phone, calling, talking to everybody who ever talked to me who is outside the program to connect and increase and grow this. But I'm gonna look at my own community and say, look, we're your mark of slave. Why you trying to act like you don't your mark of slavery is not bleeding? Like it's fresh. Sitting up in here talking about, what we can do, but you don't see it. Like, comment, share. We have a couple of programs that are live streamed, and we need more support in those. We need to sit down and focus on taking a look at them and making them look like we represent the liberation of black people. I keep saying that. I said that mediocrity doesn't show that we liberating black people. We got to find a way that we can deliver the word where it looks like the word. That look in the eye where spirit meets spirit. Yeah, it's real. So I'm gonna say we're gonna continue. We're gonna build. We're gonna grow. I can't wait to see what God does. Cause like He said, may God guide us. I ain't got nothing on this. My ego gone. Because I just want a life experience where I get to learn what it means to be free. And I want that to be the experience of all African people. We have a vehicle that we can use. Let's use it. Let's connect. Let's dialogue. Let's help you in your own community. Let's build the world of Akibaland as it fits into a greater puzzle for the liberation of black people. Because this is just a piece of a puzzle. And so let's increase the size of our piece and what we're doing with our piece. We talked about those nonprofits. So my church is based off a few nonprofits, and I called a few people and even asked some people to help me contact and reach out to other people because we got a program coming where it's going to give $50,000 to all nonprofits on a regular basis. I've been talking about this for years, but nobody wants to hear me because their eye is not open. They could only see what they want, not what is. That's a real. Let's get rid of that mark and let us watch the rise of the African across the globe.